Hey guys, it's Miss Elise. I hope you are all doing well today. This week for Thoughtful Thursday, I want to talk a little bit about journaling. I'm going to talk to you guys about why it's helpful for me and some of the different things I do when I journal, and why that's helpful for me when I journal, and also just give some tips and some things for you guys for when you journal. So first things first, you're going to need a journal of some sort. You can also use any kind of notebook, or if you have a computer or a phone, you can even do journal entries on there and you can just type it up and save it on your phone somewhere. And then of course, if you're writing it, you need a pen. So one of the reasons I find it really great to journal and why it's really helpful for me is that it helps me walk through my day or walk through certain moments and process them, maybe more than I would when I'm not journaling. So when I say that journaling helps me process things that happen in my day, what I mean is that after something happens, then I can think about it and I can reflect about it. But instead of being caught up in maybe what I was feeling when that thing happened, I might have different thoughts about it and might realize that what I think about it isn't how it felt in the moment. And so sometimes it's just good to be able to think about how things happened afterwards, because sometimes when you are experiencing them, it's hard to know what you actually think about them. And so that's why I find journaling really helpful, and I know a lot of others do. And it could maybe be helpful for you guys. So sometimes when I'm journaling, I find it helpful if I need something besides just my day to write about. I might write about something that I read that meant a lot to me. So in this case, I have been reading the journal of someone who was a spiritual leader, and his name was Henry Nouwen. And so as I was reading it, there were a couple quotes that I really liked, and so I wrote them down because I kind of wanted to write more about my thoughts about them. This is something that you guys can do too. So maybe if you're reading the Bible and you find a verse that you really like, or if you're reading a book and you really like something that the author says, or maybe you hear someone on TV even say a quote that you really like, you can try to remember it and write it down. So I'll even share the quotes with you guys that I wrote down. The first one says, "Community is so much more than living and working together. It is a bond of heart that has no physical limitations." So basically what that means is that having community isn't just about what we do with each other, but it's about how we feel towards each other, and how there isn't a limit based on whether we're together or not, or based on what we physically do for each other. And I think that that's really important, just especially right now. It's hard for a lot of us, we can't be together, and so it's good to know that we can still have community even if we aren't physically together. And then also the other quote I wrote is, "Nobody is so poor that he has nothing to give. Nobody is so rich that he has nothing to receive." And so that quote is from Pope John Paul II, and it was mentioned in the journal that I was reading. The Pope is the head of the Catholic Church also. And so I just really like that because it's just a good reminder for all of us that we all have something to give and we can all receive. And that's also a part of being in community with each other, is being able to both give and receive. And so that's why I really liked that quote. So we've already talked about some of the things that you can journal about. We talked about writing just about the things that happen in your day. Maybe those are specific things that made you feel really emotional, or you weren't sure what you thought or felt about them, and so you needed to think about them later. I do that. Maybe, like I do, you can also write about quotes or things that make you inspired, make you feel inspired, and think, wow, like that's really cool. You can also keep a journal that is just a collection of stories maybe that you want to write if you like writing stories. Or you could do a picture journal where maybe you don't want to write as much, but you just want to draw maybe about the things that happen in your day, maybe about other things. Maybe you can keep a gratitude journal. And a gratitude journal is when you write about things that you're thankful for. So maybe you just write a really simple journal where you just write about one thing each day that you're thankful for. Or maybe you write about one thing each day that makes you really happy. So the thing is, you can decide to journal about whatever you want to. So I hope you guys will give it a shot, and I hope you enjoy it and find that it helps just to take care of yourself.